Hello, and welcome back to TimeSplitters in Detail, part 3 of unused arcade levels, and potentially the last video on this topic for some time, for reasons I'll explain later on. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at Wild West, a level which isn't selectable for arcade mode, and isn't seen in the arcade league either. This level does feature in the challenge mode level Take 'em Down, but during that challenge the level is running under story mode conditions, so can't really be considered arcade mode. As with the previous episodes, we'll start off by playing a deathmatch, and I'm happy to say this level is a huge improvement over Notre Dame. There are plenty of spawn points available for players, and scattered throughout the level are, I believe, all the weapons. From what I can tell, there are no health or armor pickups available, and no special power-ups such as cloak, speed, and so on. I guess that's the first sign that this is another unfinished level. Team Deathmatch works perfectly, and like Deathmatch is entirely playable. This can be said for all game modes running on the Deathmatch logic, which means a vast amount of modes are ready to go. You'll notice by now that spawn points are all centered around the final area of the story mode level, where you fight the Colonel. It's interesting as the two previous levels we looked at, Siberia and Notre Dame, all focus on the starting area of the story mode level. Once again in this series, it's capture the bag where things start to fall apart a little. As is the case with the previous levels, it appears no bags or team bases are placed within the level. The AI will roam the level in search of a bag, and occasionally guard spots at random, or engage enemy team members. Spawn points are now completely random, meaning you can spawn in any part of the level. Like Capture the Bag, bag tag doesn't work, likely due to no bag being placed in the level for the bots to collect. It's a shame both bag related modes don't work, as the level is quite well suited for these modes. You could easily have a team base close to the start of a level, and another towards the end near the mine, potentially on the lower platform section. As you'd imagine, elimination is entirely playable on Wild West and works with no noticeable problems. The same can be said for the other modes similar to Deathmatch, such as Vampire, Thief, Leech, Gladiator, and so on. I'll show some footage of these modes in action before getting to different modes such as Virus. Flame tag works great, and is actually quite fun to play as the AI will make full use of a level, though occasionally can get stuck on objects. It helps that the streets towards the starting area allow access to buildings where you can climb up to the second story, choose to drop back down into the street, or remain above. The mine area towards the end of a level is good too. Even though it only has one entrance, there are several paths to choose from which all loop around, allowing you to give enemies the runaround. Virus also lends itself well to Wild West for the same reasons that Flame Tag does. The level just seems to work well for these modes, with the only downside being that I notice pickups no longer spawn. It's a real shame because this mode feels so close to being perfect here, and it's just let down by the lack of pickups. Zones, as with the other levels, crashes the game and hangs on the loading screen sadly. If you've watched the previous two episodes, then you probably know that Assault isn't going to work. Whilst Assault will load, the second you spawn into the level, the match is over. This time, however, I'm unable to see where the other AI spawn in. So, what are my thoughts on Wild West? In my opinion, this is easily my favourite out of the three levels we've looked at. I'd say it's technically less finished than Siberia, as Siberia has armour and health pickups, but I had a great deal more fun playing on Wild West over all the game modes, excluding the bag related ones. I mentioned at the start of this episode that this is potentially the last episode for unused arcade levels, at least for the time being. This is because all the other story mode levels crashed when trying to load them into arcade mode. I can only get other story mode levels to work on an extremely basic preview mode, but with no bots or weapons loaded. It's still interesting to view the levels this way, but I'll likely save that for dedicated episodes on particular levels. I haven't been able to access any of the levels in the first TimeSplitters game, and I'm only just getting to grips with level loading in Future Perfect. For a bit of fun and tribute to these levels, I've made a sort of what-if scenario to show ways they could have been used maybe. This is just a mixture of minor game editing and video editing for fun, but I guess it's the nearest we will see for them being officially used. With that marks the end of the episode. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.